Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry in 10 minutes. We're going to talk about complete the square method when a is not equal to 1. In the previous video, I talked about how do you complete the square when a is equal to 1. So for example, when you have x squared plus 5x plus 6, for instance, and you use the completing the square method to solve that, okay? Because you can see a is equal to 1. But what about if you have something like 2x squared plus 5x minus 7, all right? Or you have minus x squared plus 7x plus 8 or something, and you are asked to solve this question using completing the square method. What do? So I wrote down the formula to make it the rules to be very easy for you. So the first thing you have to do is that you have to then factorize a from the ax squared plus bx. So remember, it's in the form ax squared plus bx plus what? C. So what you do, you bring out a out, so you just find the common factor of the two of them, all right? So you want to make sure that the quotient of x squared is 1. So you divide this by a, okay, and you divide this by a as well. So that's why it should now give you a into bracket x squared plus b over ax, all right? Then you also apply the 7 rules of complete the square method. We talked in the previous video. You apply from step 1 to step 7, all right, to the brackets only. So just the brackets here, you apply that too, all right? Then after that, you expand and you simplify, all right? Now, I'm going to apply these rules here, okay? For some of you that are writing, you can pause the video, write down the rules, and then you go to the next one, all right? So let's solve this question now. Let's assume we have 5x squared minus 4x minus 2. So you can see here, a is equal to 5, b is equal to minus 4, and c is equal to minus 2, all right? Then what do? Step 1, we need to factorize. So that means you divide x squared by the coefficient of a, right? So it's going to be 5 into bracket x squared minus, you divide it by coefficient of a, which is 4 over 5x minus 2. Are you seeing it? So you just divide it by the coefficient of a. Now, the next step is that you then have to apply the 7 rules we talked about in the previous video to this alone. So I'm going to solve it in this part of the board, all right? So we're having x squared minus 4 over 5x. So that means the c is 0, all right? So I told you in that video, you open a bracket, you put x there, and you put squared. Half, you put a sign here. The sign here is minus. 4 over 5 divided by 2 will give you 4 over 10, all right? Minus the 4 over 10, you square it. Then you add what? 0. That's it. So that means this is going to give you x minus 4 over 10 all squared minus 16 over what? 100. Then all this value, I'm going to take it back and put it back into the bracket. So it's going to give me 5 into x minus 4 over 10 squared minus 16 over 100 minus what? 2. So that means I'm going to replace this with this now. Are you seeing it? Then the next step is that we then have to open the bracket. Okay, step 2. So step 2 said we have to expand and simplify. So we're going to expand now. So we're going to multiply. So it's going to be 5 multiplying this. So this is step 2 now. Or step 3. All right, this is step 3. Then we've done step 2. Okay, so we then have to, when expanding and simplifying, so it's going to be 5 multiplied by this. It's going to give us x minus 4 over 10 squared. Then it's going to be minus. Then 5 multiplied by this. So it's going to be 5 multiplied by 16 over 100. Then minus what? 2. Then we'll simplify that. So it's going to give us 5 into bracket x minus 4 over 10 squared, all right? 4 over 10 squared minus 5 can divide 100 to give you 20, okay? So 5 here, 1. 5 will give you here what? 20. So that will give you minus 16 over 20. So we'll give you minus 16 over 20, then minus what? 2, right? Then you press your calculator, minus 16 over 20 minus 2, that will give you minus 14 over 5. Then we have 5x minus 4 over 10 all squared. Now this is the what? The vertex form. But usually you might be asked to find for the value of x. So what you have to do now is then you have to equate it equal to 0, step 4, and solve for x. Okay, so it's going to give us, so step 4 now, we're going to equate this to be equal to 0. So that means it's going to be 5x minus 4 over 10 all squared minus 14 over 5 is equal to 0. Take this to the other side. So it's going to be 5 into bracket x minus 4 over 10 all squared is equal to 14 over 5. All right, so I want to remove this 5 here. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 1 over 5. So I multiply both sides by 1 over 5. So that's going to give me x minus 4 over 10 all squared is equal to 14 over 25. All right. Then in order to remove the square, I have to take the square root of both sides. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So if I find the square root, find the square root. So this will cancel that. So I'm going to have x minus 4 over 10 is equal to the square root of 14 over what? 25. Plus or minus. Then x is going to be equal to 4 over 10 plus or minus square root of 14 over what? 25. Now, if you want to press this in the calculator, like if you want, using the short form, it will give you x is equal to 4 over 10 plus or minus, this should give you about 0.748. So that means x is going to be 4 over 10 plus 0.748 or 4 over 10 minus 0.748. And when you do this for the positive, it's going to give you about 1.148. And for the negative, it's going to give you about minus 0.348. So that means x is this. But in some cases, they might want you to solve this in short form, all right? So in some cases, they might want you to leave your answer in short form and not in decimal. So how do you do it? So we have 4 over 10 plus or minus square root of 14 over what? 25, all right? So what do? Remember I taught you in source that square root of a over b is equal to square root of a divided by square root of b, right? So we're going to do this. It's going to be 4 over 10 is equal to plus or minus square root of 14 divided by square root of what? 25. Now that'll be 4 over 10 is the same thing as 2 over 5 plus or minus square root of 14, and square root of 25 is what? 5. You can see the denominators are what? The same. So that means the same thing as saying 2 plus square root of 14 over 5 or 2 minus square root of 14 over what? 5. So this is the value for what? X. So if they want it in short form, you leave your answer like that. But if they want it in decimals, you do it like that. All right? So we're going to pick another example now. So I'm going to pick another example to just buttress this point a bit more. So let's pick this example. We have 9x squared minus 30x minus 29, okay? So from here, our A is 9, our B is what? Minus 30, and our C is minus 29. Is that okay? So the first thing is that step 1, we need to factorize, okay? So we have 9x squared minus 30x minus 29. So you divide each of this by A. So you bring this divided by A, so it's going to give you x squared. divide it, it will be 30 over what? 9x minus what? 29. So like I said, we're going to use the method we learned in the last video. We're going to just only apply completing the square to this bracket only. So we're going to have x squared minus 30 over 9x plus 0. So like I said, you open a bracket, you put the x and you put the squared, you have 30 over 9, and when you have 30 over 9, it's going to give you 30 over 18, okay? Minus, and the 30 over 18 all squared, then plus 0. Then when you have, it will be x minus 30 over 18 squared minus the same thing as 30 squared is 900, 18 squared is 324. If you want to, you can solve it like that, but if you want to, you can decide to simplify this, and that will give you 25 over 9. Is that okay? Then it will now give you x minus 30 over 18 all squared. Okay? Now all this, I'm going to bring it back here. Is that okay? So we're going to have 9 into bracket. Are you seeing it? I'm going to have 9 into bracket. X minus 30 over 18 all squared minus, so all this. So let me put it in a better way so it will be easier. Okay, so put it like this. So we're having all this while replacing all this, okay, here. So it's going to be 9. We're replacing this with this. So it's going to be 9 into bracket x minus 30 over 18 all squared minus 25 over 9 minus what? 29. Okay? Then remember in step 3, we then have to expand and simplify. Okay? So that we're going to do now. We're going to expand and simplify. So let's go. So we expand it. So step 3 now. So this part is the step 2. All right. We've done the step 2. Step 3, we're expanding. So it'll be 9 times this. It's going to give you 9 into bracket x minus 30 over 18 all squared minus 9 times 25 over 9 will give you 25. Then you bring down the minus what? 29. Okay? Then we're going to have the next one, which is going to be 25 minus 25 minus 29. That will give you minus 54. So it's going to give you 9 into bracket x minus 30 over 18 all squared equal to minus what? 54. All right? So minus what? 54. So that means now this is the completing the square, the vertex form for this. But in some cases, they might want you to find a value for x. So we need to now look for the value for x. So in order to look for it, you have to then equate this to be equal to 0. That's step 4. You now equate it to be 0. So you're going to have 9 into bracket x minus 30 over 18 squared. So 9 into bracket x minus 30 over 18 all squared minus 54. So that'll give us minus 54 equal to what? 0. You take 54 to the other side, with x minus 30 over 18 all squared. 9 is equal to what? 54. We need to simplify. You multiply both sides by 1 over 9 to get rid of the 9. And that will give you x minus 30 over 18 all squared is equal to what? 54 over what? 9. Now to get rid of the square root, you then, the square sign, you then have to find the square root. This is going to cancel that. Then you're going to have x minus 30 over 18 is equal to plus or minus square root of 54 over 9. So you can simplify 30 over 18. It's the same thing as saying 5 over 3. So it's going to be x minus what? 5/3 is equal to plus or minus square root of 54/9. Okay? Then you take this to the other side. So x is going to be 5/3 plus or minus square root of 54/9 is the same thing as saying square root of 6 because it's going to cancel out. And then you're going to have x is equal to, so the x is now equal to 5/3 plus root 6, or you can say 5/3 minus what? Root 6. In some cases, you can leave this as a decimal point if the question wants you to do that, and that will be 4.116, and this is going to give you minus 0.783, and that's how you do it. Is that okay? All right, and that is that for that, how you solve when a is not equal to 1. So the key thing here to keep in mind is that you have to first factorize the first two terms. Is that okay? So you open the bracket, okay? You divide this by the number here, and that will give you b/ax. Then you solve this as normal, like we did in the last video. Then you keep it up and you get the answer. Now I'm going to go to the next one. How do you do completing the square using the formula what? Method, all right? So like I said, if you have any question, please feel free to ask me, or you can drop me an email and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.